There's a pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello BookTube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. This is one of the very last videos I'm making from Tokyo. I'll probably edit the sucker on the airplane. On my flight back to Canada, I'm moving on May 28th. I'm filming this a few days before, the weekend before. This is my Pride Month TBR. I think there's some queer readathon stuff happening, which I don't participate in. You can Google that, but here's what I'm reading for Pride Month. This will be my first month of Canadian reading. In other words, my new life in Canada. And I also expect that I'm kind of going to be on holidays. I'm going to be job hunting and apartment hunting, but not in a very urgent way. So I'm expecting to sink back into reading after several months of being so preoccupied with getting ready to move that I didn't know which end was up. So I have a rather ambitious TBR, or as Cousin of Always Doing would put it, a pile of possibilities. And I'm probably going to talk myself into and out of various of the possibilities as the video goes on. So without further ado, here's what I'm planning to read. The first is a queer indigenous novel from New Zealand called Greta and Valdin by Rebecca K. Reilly. Outside of New Zealand, you can only get it as an ebook directly from the publisher. I'll put a link in the show notes. I had a physical copy back-ordered from Blackwell's for months, but it never materialized, so I broke down and bought the ebook. I did a bite-sized chat with Olivia from Auckland a few episodes ago about this book, and it had been on my radar already. She totally sold me on it, and I can't put it off any longer. I am reading Greta and Valdin for Pride Month in 2022. It is about a pair of queer siblings, one of the male persuasion and one of the female, and their millennially inflected, fabulous queer lives in modern-day Auckland. They are of Maori or partially Maori background, and that's part of what's explored in the novel. There's a lot of humor. It just sounds like such a Sean book. I can't wait to read it. Another one that is coming to me through the Bite Size Book Chat series is a novel from 2021. I believe Greta and Valdin was a 2021 novel. This one is from America, Radiant Fugitives by Nawaaz Ahmed. And I did a bite-sized chat with Sarah Hope about that, and she totally sold me. 3 generations of a Muslim Indian family in Obama-era San Francisco. How fabulous of a setting is that? One of the daughters is a lesbian who was rejected by her father when she came out years before. And now she's 9 months pregnant, and it just creates a web of family and friendship and lover relationships that just sounds incredible. One of the points of view in this novel is of her unborn child. And here is a somewhat hot-off-the-press lesbian novel from America, Other People Manage by Hawley. I love the cover and I love the title, and that's what drew me to it. It just came out a few weeks ago, I believe. Set in Minneapolis in the 1970s. 2 young women meet at a woman's coffee house, and the story goes from there. One of them is a bus driver, the other is a psychotherapist. And Hawley, I believe this is her debut. Oh, no, that's not true. She looks like she's maybe in her 60s, 70s, and this is her first novel to be published in America. She's an American writer who's lived in Cornwall for the last 15 years. So I'm curious now to find out what she's... So did I mention that this is set in the 1970s? Look at those end papers. I have a really good feeling about this one, and I have long wanted to read something by the Canadian trans writer Casey Plett. What are Casey Plett's pronouns? Casey Plett's pronouns are she and her. Actually, I'm going to ask advice because I haven't decided. I think I'm going to do it as an ebook, audiobook combo. So I haven't purchased these. I thought I'd wait till I get to Canada, but I want to read something by Casey Plett. So Lindy especially, but anybody who has an opinion and something to say about this, which should I read? Her novel, Little Fish, or her short story collection, A Dream of a Woman? She's got another short story collection as well. But both of those are available to me as an ebook if I can't find the physical book in Saskatoon, and on audio. So I thought I'd do that one as a combo. So weigh in, people. The novel, Little Fish, which is not the recent one. It came out in 2018. It won the Amazon Canada First Novel Award. The protagonist is a 30-year-old trans woman who discovers that her late grandfather, a devout Mennonite farmer, may have been transgender. Oh my God. Oh, I think I'm going to read this one. Lindy, should I read this one or should I read the short story collection, which came out this year, last year? Last year, A Dream of a Woman, short stories. It has a slightly higher rating than the novel. So, Lindy, help me decide. How many have I mentioned so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to commit to reading at least 6, and I can read more. I'm sure I read more than 6 books in a month, and I think it's going to be a big reading month, June. So, let's keep going here. I also I absolutely must get to this short story collection. I can't even remember how I found out about this book. It is also by a Canadian writer, isn't it? Oh, I guess this is also by a trans or non-binary writer. Helen Chau Bradley, writer, musician, and former bookseller living in Montreal, whose pronouns are they and them. Their first book of fiction, and it is short stories, and the title just grabbed me. Personal Attention Roleplay Stories. Just came out last year, I believe, and out of Metonymy Press in Montreal. And all the stories are gay, 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 queer, 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 trans, trans, trans. So I can't wait to try them. I hope I like them because I just haven't, and again, I've just been really curious about this since I found it, impulsively bought it, and here we are. It's Pride Month. I'm going to read it. Sean, let's be realistic. I'm going to try it. One that was put onto my radar, I mean, I was aware of this as a canonical lesbian novel, but Greg of Supposedly Fun, I think, hauled it. I think he might have even read it, but he certainly put it on my radar a year or two ago, and that is Patience and Sarah by Isabel Miller. It was reissued in a series of kind of classic GLBTQIA literature brought back into print by Arsenal Pulp Press in Canada. It was originally published in 1969 and brought back into print by Arsenal Pulp Press in 2005. Has an introduction by Ahmed Donahue. And it's about a lesbian relationship in the 19th century. That sounds fabulous. So I'm going to get to it for Pride Month this year. Sean, don't keep saying that. They know what this is all about. Just stop repeating yourself. So I think I'm now up to 6. I'm going to add one more, and I'm really hoping, and I'm sure that at least one of these is going to be a bail, so it's okay. But I was going to keep it, the books I really want to read, down to 6, but this is number 7. And this is a fairly new queer African novel. Here Again Now by Okechukwu Nzelu. I have checked a video where he pronounces his own name, and it's Okechukwu Nzelu. Okechukwu Nzelu. Okechukwu Nzelu. And his previous novel, or I think it was a novel, The Private Joys of Nena Maloney, I'd heard of, but haven't read. And I heard him interviewed on a BBC Bookish podcast a few months ago, and it totally sounded up my alley. Just came out March of 2022. So it's about a Black British gay guy. I believe it's kind of like a coming out story and love relationship story. It has got somewhat, well, no, it's got a 4.1 rating. I did see somebody review it a little bit more mediocrely than that. Oh, Bob, the Booker, just read it a couple months ago. Quite liked it. No, I take that back. The reviews, well, I see some 3-star reviews by readers I don't know. But that's enough of the synopsis. I'm going to give it a try. And I may, if I can find an audiobook for it, I may do that one also on audio. So those are the ones that I'm really hoping to get to. And I have some backups. I have some more books here, physical books, and I got a whole pile of ebooks. I'm not going to mention any of those. I have 4 others in physical form that I am tucking in my suitcase. I didn't send them through the mail. I wanted to have them on hand in case I got to them for Pride Month. So let's look at those. I have the 2021 collection of short stories by a queer Cambodian American writer, Afterparties by Anthony Veasna. he took his own life just after the book was accepted for publication, which was a really confounding tragedy to try to get my head around. And these stories, apparently they are quite exquisite. I think Lindy has just started reading it, I'm not sure. Heard really good things about it. I think it's time to get to it. If not for Pride Month, sometime later this year. This one scares me. As a gay guy who came out in the mid-80s, the stereotype that I was so defended against was all gay men wanted seduce or rape or whatever, teenage boys or underage boys. And I have just, in the early, and that's not true, I don't need to say that. That's not true, but I'm so uncomfortable around any work of fiction or anything that blurs the boundary there. And this is a book about exactly that just came out in 2021. It is called Doubting Thomas by Matthew Clark Davison. Gorgeous cover. And the premise is that the gay protagonist is a 4th grade teacher, openly gay, private school, Portland. And it's very specifically stated in the synopsis that he's falsely accused. So I'd forgotten that detail. So that there's no ambiguity about whether he did something wrong or not. So no, I do very much want to read it now that I've clarified that. You can see how prepared I am to make this video. That makes me calm down because there's a little bit of queer fiction that blurs the line and kind of probes, is it really okay and stuff, and I can't, that just makes my skin crawl. So, this is set in the waning years of Obama's America. This sounds really interesting. How has it been received so far? Oh, it's got a 4.5 rating. I'd kind of like to get to this one. Can I get all of these? The craziest thing about this book, Daryl by Jackie Ess, an American trans writer whose pronouns are she and her. I recommended is not the right word, but I told the Gunpowder Fiction and Plot duo, Nell and Scott, about this book, and they promptly ordered it, read it, raved about it, and I still haven't freaking read it. And I'm the one that told them about it. So I'm feeling, FOMO or something. It's such a slim little book. The premise doesn't really interest me, though. It's about the man who has a cuckolding fetish, so he likes watching his wife have sex with other people. And then somehow the transgender theme emerges after that. And the transgender theme interests me. The cuckolding thing doesn't really interest me. I think that's why I put it off. So, but this was recommended to me by Tori Peters, I saw on an interview, and who wrote one of the very best books published last year, Detransition Baby. So, yeah, I'll get to it someday soon. If not this month, someday soon. Maybe Nell and Scott can help me with this. What's the name of a fetish where you watch somebody read a book about cuckolding fantasies? I read the first story of this collection to Lindy, and she loved it. I loved it too. She loved it so much that she's already read the entire collection, and I need to play catch up on that one too. Gordo by Jaime Cortez, a queer Latin American writer. This is a debut collection. She loved the whole book. I loved the first story. It's set in a migrant workers' camp in the 1970s in California. That's also on my pile of possibilities. Do you think I have enough books to keep me going in June? I think so, because I'm also planning to read other stuff. So, happy Pride, everyone. Thanks for watching.